Good morning. Welcome to the JP8 report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report, episode 414. Racking up the digits. Right. Good morning, everybody. Ready to get this day going. Take me a little bit of a break when I'm going to go eat breakfast right after this show with Covite for Life. We've got to meet him 9 o'clock at Little Tex right here in Copper's Cove. All right, so welcome to the JP8 report, and we're getting started. So on the menu line where it says the JP8 report, you'll see a little bell. Click that follow button in that bell, click the bell list, go down, click follow, or if you have a follow button, click the follow button, and then give us a thumbs up for the podcast. All right, and then chat with us. We got Covite for Life in the chat room right now. Put something in there so he can talk with you. I read it too. I get involved with it. Just give us a little bit of a go here and put a comment in the comment section also. Comments are forever. You know, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But you know what? Words matter because they do stick in the comment section. All right. So here we go. America 250. We got a lot of stuff to go over. This is from the diary of John Adams. It says, Wednesday, June 12th, 1776, resolved that the committee to prepare and digest the form of a confederation to be entered in between these colonies consists of a member from each colony. The members appointed as Bartlett, Samuel Adams, Hopkins, Roger Sherman, Robert Livingston, Dickinson, McKean, Stone, Nelson, Hughes, Rutledge, and Gwinnett. I could bet Gwinnett is Georgia. Okay. Resolved that the committee to prepare a plan of treaties to propose for the foreign powers consist of 5. The members chosen are Dickinson, Ben Franklin, John Adams, Harrison, and Morse. Congress took into consideration the report of the Committee of the War Office, whereupon resolved that a committee of Congress be appointed to name a board of war and ordnance that consists of 5 members, in order to show the insupportable burden of business that was thrown upon me, that would be John Adams, by this Congress. It is necessary to transcribe from the journal an account of the Constitution, powers, and duties of this board. It was resolved that a secretary or one or more of the clerks be appointed by Congress with competent salaries, they pay, and assist the board in executing the business on their department. That it shall be the duty of said board to obtain and keep the alphabetical accurate register of the names and officers of the land forces in the service of the United Colonies, with their rank and dates of their respective commissions, and also regular accounts of the state and distribution of the troops in the respective colonies, for which purpose the generals and officers commanding the different departments and posts are to cause regular returns to be made in the said War Office, that they shall obtain the exact accounts of all the artillery, arms, ammunition, and warlike stores belonging to the United Colonies, and of the manner in which, in all the places where the same shall from time to time be lodged and employed, that they shall have the immediate care of such artillery, arms, ammunition, and warlike stores as shall not be employed in actual service, for preserving whereof, that they shall have the power to hire proper magazines at the public expense, that they shall have the care of forwarding all dispatches from Congress to the colonies and armies, and all moneys to be transmitted for the public service by order of Congress, and providing suitable escorts and guards for the safe conveyance of such dispatches and monies, when it shall appear to them to be necessary, that they shall be superintending the raising, fitting out, and dispatching of all such land forces as may be ordered for the service of the United Colonies, that they shall have the care and direction of all prisoners of war, agreeable to the orders and directions of Congress, that they shall keep and preserve in the said office in regular order all original orders, letters, and papers, and which shall come into the said office by the order of Congress and otherwise, and shall also cause all draughts of letters and dispatches to be made or transcribed into books to be set apart for that purpose, and shall cause fair entries in like manner to be made and registers preserved in all business which shall be transacted in this office before the secretary or of any clerk of the war office shall enter in his office. They shall respectively take and subscribe the following oath, and a certificate thereof or whereof shall be filed in said office. It says, I, and it says AB, which would be named, do solemnly swear that I will not directly or indirectly divulge any matter of thing which shall come to my knowledge as Secretary of the Board of War and Ordnance, or Clerk of the Board of War and Ordnance, established by Congress without the leave of said Board of War and Ordnance, and I will faithfully execute my said office according to the best of my skill and judgment, so help me God. That the said Board of War authorize the hire of suitable apartments and provide books, papers, and necessaries for the continental expense for carrying out the business of said office. Wow. So this oath they had to take sounds like a non-disclosure agreement, that they won't write a book. Hint, hint, hint. All right. That was from John Adams. All right. So next we have the armament shop. Whether you're looking for your first firearm, upgrading your setup, or need expert service, Jason at the Armament Shop is Copper's Coast's premier source for all things shooting. Browse our wide selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, backed by top-tier gunsmithing for repairs, along with reloading supplies and professional cleaning to keep your firearm in peak condition. Need a transfer? We make FFL transfers fast, easy, and affordable. Need your CHL? JC can handle those classes. He has over 3 decades of experience. Visit the Armament Shop today at 115A West Avenue D in Coppers Cove, or call or text 254-560-2023, or visit them at www.armamentshop.com. That's www.armamentshop.com. The Armament Shop, your safety, our priority. All right, I'm back. Oh, great. Covite for Life gave me a dancing banana. Wow. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Not a dancing banana. I'll explain that to you later, unless you know where dancing bananas came from. All right, so we have the Iran update. Last night, the U.S. shot down several drones over the Strait of Hormuz, but Thursday's airstrike was canceled. And the president said, make a deal or else. I got something I want to cover on that in just a minute. And then Carg Island is the key to the agreement. So we pretty much told them we're coming after Carg Island or sign this agreement. And they said, well, we don't want to lose it. So and it's possibly going to be an agreement signed by Sunday, and it might possibly be in Switzerland. All right. An Indian vessel tanker tried to run the blockade, and 3 of their sailors were killed. there was an F-18 that fired 2 Hellfire missiles into the engine compartment. Iran will not have nuclear weapons, as per President Trump. Oil is down and Dow is up. You'll see that in just a minute. Iran says there's no deal yet. There's an update. And Bibi says he agrees with Trump on the commitment to Iran. We have from the Iranian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghei said that the text of a deal with the United States to end the conflict is mostly finalized. So this is actual wording from a picture of a person that's still alive in Iran. All right. Baghei made the comment during a phone call broadcast on Iranian state television, according to the Associated Press. The problem is that the contradictions in America's position have caused turbulence in this process, and the president said that negotiators are nearing an agreement and suggested a signing ceremony could take place in Europe as soon as this weekend. We will have a signing soon, the president said. And he said the Strait of Hormuz would reopen once the agreement is finalized. And so Reuters is the source on this, okay? And they said it could possibly sign Sunday in Geneva, all right? Next update on the Iranian update. Per CENTCOM, that's Central Command, all right? All Democrats need to listen because they don't understand this stuff. The U.S. Central Command said that the Strait of Hormuz remains open for transit as the U.S. and Iran are working to finalize an agreement to end the war. CENTCOM wrote on X Thursday that Iran does not control the Strait of Hormuz and that the American forces are postured to defend against Iranian aggression. The comments come before Iran apparently attempted to strike commercial ships transiting the strait Thursday night, prompting the U.S. to shoot down 2 one-way attack drones. Okay, several means 2 in my world, I guess. They shot down 2 one-way attack drones. CENTCOM said prior to the incident that safe pathways are established for commercial vessels transiting the strait, and hundreds of ships have passed through the area in the last 2 months. All right? So the Strait of Hormuz is open. And with the price of oil, I would understand that. The next one. Israel, this is about Hezbollah. Okay. This was just posted just a few minutes ago. I had put in the JP's morning brief that Hezbollah has been silent in the last few days. Evidently not as silent as we wish it would be. IDF said Friday that it hit dozens of targets in an area of South Lebanon described as a significant Hezbollah stronghold. The IDF announced that during the operation in Dabin, 50-plus targets were struck, dozens of terrorist infrastructures were dismantled, significant weapons storage facilities were located, and terrorists were struck and eliminated from the air. This area served as a significant Hezbollah stronghold used to advance and prepare terrorist attack plans and anti-tank fire against IDF's troops and Israeli civilians. What it says here, Hezbollah terrorist group is based in Lebanon and backed by Iran. Over the past week, 310 Hezbollah targets were hit and 80 terrorists eliminated, according to the Israeli Defense Forces. Yeah, those 3 articles came out after I wrote everything up a little while ago. All right. So Brent crude oil right now, as of about 7:05 Central Time, was trading at $87.78 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate was at $85 a barrel, and the stock market closed yesterday up 929.97 points to 50,848.75. All right, and then I'll talk about it if I can get to it, because the day is like flying by. But there's an IPO today. It's SpaceX. They're going to generate $75 billion. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. The shares, when they open in 15 minutes, are going to start off at $135 a share. All right. They said that Elon Musk is going to become the world's first trillionaire today. Or it might. All right. Because, they may start selling it at 135, but it can go down or it can go up. All right. All right. So that is the Iran update for today. All right. So I still got another article to read, but this is different from, it's a little bit close to it, but it's Trump calls off the Iran strikes and tells the New York Post UN Tehran deal's all but wrapped up. President Trump canceled impending U.S. airstrikes in a purported plan to storm Iran's Karg Island Thursday, telling the New York Post that an agreement between Washington and Tehran to open the Strait of Hormuz and begin nuclear negotiations is all but wrapped up. Based on the fact that discussions with the Islamic Republic of Iran have been brought to the highest levels of Iranian leadership and approved, I have, as President of the United States of America, canceled the scheduled strike and bombings against Iran this evening. Discussions and final points have been in concept and good deal and approved by all parties involved, including the U.S., Israel, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Turkey, Pakistan, Bahrain, Kuwait, Jordan, Egypt, and others. Trump's announcement came after the Post reported Iran had submitted a final draft of a prospective agreement to Qatari mediators Wednesday night. It's pretty much all wrapped up, the president told the Post in a brief phone call. Details of the new agreement were few, but Trump indicated that the U.S. would lift its nearly 2-month-old blockade on Iranian ports once the deal is signed, something Secretary Marco Rubio said would only happen if the Strait of Hormuz was open. Naval blockade will remain in full force in effect until this transaction is finalized, Trump said on Truth Social, adding that in-person signing ceremony would happen at a time and place to be announced shortly. The U.S. source familiar with mediation efforts described the agreement as all-inclusive. And similar to early iterations of the Memorandum of Understanding passed between the U.S. and Iran. The main hang-up, according to the source, was sequencing, referring into the order in which the terms of the arrangement would be fulfilled. I could understand that. Those terms have included reopening the strait, lifting the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports, releasing frozen Iranian funds, and Iran's willingness to plan to destroy, degrade, or transfer its stockpile of enriched uranium and vow never to seek a nuclear weapon. I'd like to see all those agreed to and enforced. While Iran has repeatedly demanded economic incentives before it would sign the MOU, Secretary of State Marco Rubio last week told Congress that lifting sanctions would only be considered in exchange for real nuclear concessions. Trump, meanwhile, has repeatedly refused to release frozen Iranian assets to begin the talks. Iran finalized its latest draft as a proposed agreement with the U.S. and as missiles whizzed back and forth between two belligerents, submitting it to Qatari intermediaries to pass on to Washington, U.S., and regional sources familiar with mediations told the Post on Thursday. All right. So, what do y'all think? You think we're going to get a breakthrough and a ceasefire, or is this for nothing? And it's like Lucy and Charlie Brown playing football. That's my question to y'all, because we've seen it time and time again. But I understand this time we have President Trump, and he'll rub a bud in a heartbeat. But that could cost a lot of American lives. But we have to keep Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. Full stop. Case closed. We have to stop it. All right? It's either that or there's going to be a whole boatload of Americans and Israelis and all these other countries going to pay a dear price for Iran's capability being exploited, right? Hold on. How do you like my new cup from Blackout Coffee? 1776, We the People. And I have iced tea on here. All right. So next, I got this last night, or early this morning. I did not know it went through, but the president won a court case in the D.C. Court of Appeals yesterday, and it deals with tariffs, and he won because, last Supreme Court cycle, the Supreme Court ruled that that the president can't collect those tariffs like he was collecting. So they came up with Act 2, right? Scene 1, they came up with another way, and it was codified in U.S. law in 1794, and it says they could, for 150 days, impose certain tariffs, right? The International Court of Trade, I never heard of them, sued and then ruled in favor, and then the president appealed it to the D.C. Court of Appeals and won. But like they said, you'll hear in just a minute, they're planning to appeal it to the Supreme Court. So you can't win. Frivolous lawsuits. Federal Appeals Court Thursday gave the Trump admin a temporary victory by allowing it to continue its second attempt on global tariffs for the time being. The Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit in Washington concluded that the administration's case was likely to succeed on the merits, despite a Supreme Court ruling earlier this year that struck down President Trump's broader tariffs. Trump issued a replacement tariffs under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. Did I say 17 a while ago? Okay, Trade Act of 1974. But the U.S. Court of International Trade struck it down last month, ruling the president overstepped and failed to identify the specific type of economic crisis that the law requires. Section 122 allows the president to impose worldwide tariffs of up to 15% for 150 days without congressional approval, but has never been used to justify import taxes. The new 10% tariffs are set to expire July 24th if Congress does not step in and extend it. The case is expected to head to the Supreme Court, because Democrats have nothing better to do than to sue. All right? Hopefully the president will win this court case. There's more to come, right? All right. Also, per the title of the podcast, Jay Clayton was nominated by the president for the permanent seat of the ODNI, Office of National Director of Intelligence, if you didn't know. He headed the Security and Exchange Commission. Hold on. They're talking about UFO stuff. Hold on, I need to check something out here. My wife wrote me. Oh, my wife told me good morning. All righty. Let me get back here. Here we go. I'm back. So my wife's not at home right now. I'm all by myself. Well, my daughter, she works, but I'm all by myself without my wife until Sunday afternoon. What will I do? But she just wrote me and told me good morning. She's at a sewing retreat in a place called Pretty, Texas. And believe it or not, I know I'm way off course. She is quilting a pair of walking shoes this weekend. The whole group of ladies, they got these sewing kits or quilting kits. I don't know what company, but they're actually going to quilt these shoes. Monday morning, if I can remember, I will bring it and show it to y'all that she quilted these shoes to her size of foot, which is she wears a size 4. No, I'll stop. Before I get my daughter probably hear this. My wife doesn't listen to podcasts, but my daughter does sometimes. She'll tell Ann in a heartbeat. Oh my goodness. Covite for Life is going off on this thing. Man, we need some people to match him. All right, let me get back on course here. All right, so Mr. Clayton currently is the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York and former led the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission. He's quoted, "I am pleased to announce the nomination of very highly respected Jay Clayton, the former chairman of the Security and Exchange Commission, the former head of Sullivan and Cromwell, and one of the most prominent and successful law firms anywhere in the world, and the current United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York to be the next director of the National Intelligence, and importantly, to serve in my cabinet. Few people anywhere in the legal community are respected at the level of Jay. I encourage the United States Senate to confirm Jay as soon as possible. Thank you for your attention to this matter," he added. If confirmed, Clayton will succeed outgoing Tulsi Gabbard, who announced her resignation in the wake of her husband's cancer diagnosis. Keep pulling for that man, right? Federal Housing Finance Agency Bill Plute is currently serves as acting DNI. But wait, there's a little bit more. Clayton's nomination came the same day the House voted down the extension of Section 702 of the FISA with authorized key spying powers, and the Democrats had hoped to use the provision's extension as leverage against Pulte's appointment, with many lawmakers concerned that the position suggested that Trump could use the office to pursue political opponents. All right. So the thing about Mr. Clayton, there's nothing wrong with him. The good thing is his confirmation hearings will begin next Wednesday. Okay? That would be oh, wow, I can't even count. I don't know. Hey, next Wednesday, look at the calendar. All right, next. Florida Supreme Court. The Florida Supreme Court yesterday, at a vote 6-1, allowed the Florida government to use the new congressional district boundaries that were drawn up just a couple of months ago. It was, like they said, Republicans pass a law, Democrats automatically sue. All right? But my dog went outside. He'll be all right. The Florida Supreme Court declined Wednesday to halt the use of a new congressional map that the state Republicans passed earlier this year amid a mid-decade redistricting push. Governor DeSantis had signed the map into law in May after the Supreme Court ruled in a Louisiana redistricting case, and that the state's existing congressional map, which includes an additional majority black district, and violated Section 2 of the VRA. The Florida judge blocked a lawsuit from several Democrat groups that sued the state in May over the map, which would have given Republicans as much as 24-4 delegation. Republicans in California currently hold a 20-8 margin in the U.S. congressional delegation. The Florida Supreme Court upheld the ruling in a 6-1 split, refusing the request to issue a temporary conjunction in the new districts. Wow. So they're pretty much done. It's going to pass. They just got to work out some technical difficulties. All right. I saw on TV a lady named Claudia something, that she's going to be one of the new representatives in one of the redistricted congressional districts. Her name is Claudia something. Okay, so United States Supreme Court, SCOTUS overturns Biden area furnace rules and win for natural gas groups. There was 3 rulings yesterday. This is the one with the most impact. There's supposed to be more opinions released next Thursday. Okay, there's either 20 or 17 left to be able to be published. All right, and like I was saying earlier, a lot of these Democrats and those 3 Democrats in the Supreme Court take it upon themselves to have a lag when there's an important case that they know they lost. They take their time writing up their opinions to publish them. It's just a thing they do. Okay, they want to be obstructionists. Just let them be obstructionists. We're going to win in the long run. So, how many of y'all knew that by 2028, if you had a gas furnace, you were out of regulation? I think it is out of ordinance, and you have to change it out no matter what the cost. Autopin signed that in 2022, right? And it was immediately challenged in court. Speed up until yesterday. The Supreme Court on Monday, a few days ago. I thought this was Monday. Okay. Overturned a lower court ruling, which, I understand, because the ruling got released yesterday. The Supreme Court on Monday overturned a lower court's ruling, which will allow gas trade associations to continue their legal challenges against Biden era restrictions of consumer furnaces powered by natural gas. The efficiency rules finalized during the Biden administration would make non-condensing furnaces, which account for approximately 55% of natural gas furnaces on the market, illegal in 2028, according to the American Gas Association trade organization. The rules, they said, would drive up the cost of heating costs. Their removal from the market would saddle families with costly renovations and or eliminate gas in home heating option altogether. The industry groups involved in the legal challenge. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia held the rules, and the High Court ruling Monday sends it back for further consideration. A coalition of 21 GOP state attorneys generals and 10 organizations had urged the Supreme Court to review the court's ruling. So it looks like we're going to get to keep gas furnaces, which it doesn't pertain to us. For some reason, we bought this house that's all electric and on a septic tank, and we have ditches in our front yard. I didn't choose it. I just said yes to my wife. That's the second time, right? All right. But it's all right. But so the Biden administration's EPA got spanked because they were trying to outlaw the use of, because they claimed natural gas is a pollutant that what it does is it deteriorates the atmosphere, right? Too much carbon monoxide, which trees love. Next is, we'll go with this one. What time are we at? 8:36. Hey, Ricky. Hey, I know you're listening because you're like spamming my account, which is cool. At 8:45, can you send me a text message and just put in there breakfast so I know to wrap up this so I can take off, okay? All right. So Dateline, California. California is not the place to be, so you load your family up and the Republicans move to Texas, and if you're a Democrat, we'll split it between New Mexico and Colorado, all right? Spencer Pratt, I love that. California is not the place to be, so you load your family up and you move to Texas. Gold, that is. Black gold, Texas tea. All right. So, and you should tell me to stop singing too. Spencer Pratt made a pointed comment about the mayor's race results as that he has yet to concede or contest the outcome. Are they done counting yet? That's what he told to the LA Elections Commission yesterday. Are they done counting yet? It is California Election Day plus 10, and they still have not finished counting the ballots. Unbelievable. Hold on. Nope, I already closed out that page. I was going to see how many ballots are left to be counted. This is, stop singing. But yeah, seriously, they've been counting ballots for 10 days and with no end in sight. I mean, yeah, they've already got first and second place settled, but they still got ballots that need to be counted and submitted. I saw a deal on Vince. I'm going to get into reading this, but hey, if you have not watched Vince this morning, because I put Vince between me and the morning brief, right? So I was watching Vince while I was feeding my dogs. My wife's not here, and just prepping for the show. And he had this one person on his show they'd be showing videos for that was down on Skid Row. And these people on Skid Row, if you can believe them, okay? He had these guys on Skid Row and girls on Skid Row that were actually talking that people were coming down 2 and 3 times a week, paying them $4 and $5 a time to sign ballots and vote. And then they took the ballots with them and ballot harvested them and submitted them. They said this has been happening. It's been happening for a while. I mean, that's unethical and illegal, right? But how many of those ballots were done that could have propelled Spencer Pratt into second place during the election instead of being in third place? We don't know. We don't know unless there's a thorough investigation of said ballots. Now, U.S. Attorney, what's his name, Esali, he can't touch it until the election is certified. You have to make sure all the votes have been canvassed, and then certified, and then he can issue subpoenas or convene a grand jury. Okay, and then also we're waiting for the Supreme Court, which might be next Thursday, unless they want to surprise everybody, release the opinion that is about not ballot harvesting, but mail-in ballots, right? That's why we need the Save America Act to do away with the ballot harvesting thing also, right? But yeah, so we're waiting on a ruling of mail-in ballots. The case involves actually going after Election Day, keep accepting ballots up to 7 days or so. So how do we know if those ballots are legitimate or not? Because they keep coming in the mail. And we're looking for a ruling from the Supreme Court that says, no, you can't do that. Election Day means election day, not Election Day plus 10 for California, which is crazy. All right, 841. So we'll just go on to here. Check this out. You will be floored when you hear this. A high-ranking Biden administration official, or Autopin, conspired to violate a 2022 court order against their interpretation of Title IX as covering gender identity within the definition of sex, which may have also tried to conceal those efforts through coercion and intimidation, according to the Department of Education report made public on Wednesday after a lengthy outside review. The Office of Special Counsel told President Trump the department fully substantiated the allegation by whistleblower Timothy Matten, who now leads the department's Office of Civil Rights, OCR. Okay, Office of Civil Rights Regional Office in Kansas City, recommending sanctions against current and former officials. The compensation for Mattson for the risks he took coming forward. Office of Special Counsel has reviewed the disclosure, agency reports, and whistleblower comments, and determined that the reports contained the information required by statute and the findings appear reasonable. The February 19th supplemental report, compiled by the Trump administration's Office of Special Counsel after President Biden's OSC dismissed Mattson's allegations. I guess he was telling the truth. A month before the presidential transition, repeatedly names then Office of Civil Rights Director Catherine Lahman as the key figure directing Mattson and others to continue enforcing the gender identity guidance. They just thumbed their nose at the court system. The Office of Civil Rights leadership actively engaged in efforts to thwart at least one OCR regional office, Kansas City, from following the plain and ambiguous meaning of the order by the U.S. District Judge Charles Ashley, a Trump appointee who blocked enforcement of the guidance. The order validated years of the accusations from Lehman's office, which she led in Obama and Biden administrations as Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights, misrepresented non-binding guidance by legally binding, threatening federal funding for K-12 schools and colleges that didn't bend the knee. Days after Ashley's order, in a virtual meeting with Matson, Lehman stated that she planned to disregard the advice provided her by her own general counsel and the Justice Department. In navigating OCR's response to the injunction, Biden's OSC claimed Matson misunderstands the scope and of the court's injunction. A year and a half later, Matson notified Office of Special Counsel that Lehman might have violated the injunction by investigating Oklahoma's Owasso Public Schools following the suicide of a non-binary student, Nex Benedict, citing gender identity as the basis for enforcement and that she threatened adverse personal actions against him for refusing an illegal order. What do y'all think about that? They thumbed their nose at Title IX, and because a Supreme Court says you can't do this, and they said, oh, yes, we can. And not only was it one person, it's two people from the same company that tried to overrule it. All right? 8:46. All righty, so I'm going to need to start wrapping up in just a second. All right, so it looks like the Biden administration violated, he should have, that's an impeachable offense right there. But he's been gone for almost 2 years, so let's just let him go, eat his ice cream, sit in his chair, and waste away. His wife said he's going to have metastasized prostate cancer for the rest of his life. Richard Derby. Okay, so Kovac for Life told me to start wrapping this up because it's time for my next engagement, okay? But it looks like they violated a federal court order, and they arbitrarily told a lawyer that became a whistleblower that to ignore it and just do as he was ordered, thumbing their nose at the judiciary branch, more lawfare, because they're going to try to do it to get their way. All right. Is there anything else I can go over real quick? I told y'all about Elon Musk, and it opened up 17 minutes ago. So there was 4,000 people that work for SpaceX became millionaires today, along with the prospective trillionaires. Really, they're raising $75 billion. What else can I give out really quick? Oyster Boy, he's quoted as U.S. was the evil bad guy. One of his ex-lovers tells the New York Post, talking about the Nazi tattoo on his chest. All right, so yeah, Oyster Boy is trying to ratchet up more and more trouble. Next, White House, the Washington Post was blasted by the White House, regardless of the pictures that they were looking at, because they're stupid. But maybe Jeff Bezos needs to fire more people. But they were saying that the reflecting pool by the Lincoln Memorial still looks the same as it did before. You know what? You got to take the reflection of the sun and the density of the water to get the actual reflection out of it. But it came in millions of dollars under budget, and all the fountains, all 22 fountains around it actually work now. So stop complaining. Same thing with the UFC. The UFC, I made it down to 2 articles. The UFC, and I'm not going to be able to get to it. The UFC is Sunday at 8 p.m. Central, and on the president's birthday, provided that they get the legal opinion they're supposed to get, and they will. They will. Hopefully, they just withdraw the lawsuits. So the free UFC event will be conducted this coming Sunday evening or Sunday night. All right, a part of the American 250. We are ramping up. All right, we are ramping up. It's 8:50. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up early. I'm not even going to raid the Dan Bongino, or should I? I can still do that. Let me see. Let me refresh because I didn't see. Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing this because he is going to be. Uh, he's going to be talking about Tucker Carlson this morning, so I'll make sure everyone's squared away with that. I'll just watch it later. Let's see. How do you spell raid? RAID. Okay, I'm all set. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So right now, I got to get out of here. Right now, this is day 2 of the GOP convention in Houston, Texas. They start voting tonight on the RPT chair. Abraham George is submitted for his for re-election, and he has 4 opponents to go against him, including his current vice chair. She wants to do it. Her name is something Randall, but I know both of them only through Facebook. I've met Abraham George once, but so that's going to be the night, and they're supposed to be do SD24 committee people also, and be going over the planks. It concludes tomorrow night, and then tomorrow is election day in Harker Heights. It is the runoff between such and such person and Mayor Michael Bloomquist. I endorse wholeheartedly Michael Bloomquist to be the re-elected mayor of Harker Heights, Texas. You can vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in Harker Heights. All right? Please do that. And then also, I have Pints in Politics next Thursday, June 18th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Area 254 in Killeen. That is, the location is, if you're driving down the road and you see Cane's Chicken, right, Raising Cane's, that shopping center, when you get off Ford exit, go north and immediately go left into the old Kmart shopping center, and there's where it'll be. All right. So my dog's still barking out there. So I'm going to end this today. I'm going to go ahead and initiate a raid for the Dan Bongino show a little early. Enjoy it. I'm going to catch up to it. I got a breakfast I got to go to. Okay. So thank you all very much for tuning in this week to the JP8 report. Click that like button. Give me a follow. Go to the little bell. Click the little list arrow on it. Go down to the bottom. Click follow. Give me a follow. Give me a like. And I really appreciate it. Allow me to have a great weekend. All right. So raid is initiated. Raid is confirmed. This is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.